The grid has been down for 3 weeks, and every gun store in the city was stripped to the bare drywall in the first 48 hours. The hardware stores are picked clean. The supermarkets are looted shelves crawling with desperate people fighting over the last dented cans. And out on the edge of town, untouched, ignored, dismissed as useless, sits a massive blue and yellow box the size of an aircraft hangar, the abandoned IKEA. Everyone walked past it looking for ammo. They had no idea they were walking past the single richest survival cache in the entire city. Let me say it plainly because it sounds insane until you understand it. An abandoned big box furniture store is worth more than every gun store combined, because a gun without a country to defend just makes you a target with a magazine, while a furniture warehouse hands you shelter, fuel, tools, food, water, and the raw materials to fortify all of it. Guns help you take, the IKEA helps you live. And in a long collapse, the people who can live are the ones still standing, when the people who could only take run out of things to take. Here's why everyone overlooks it. We're trained to see a furniture store as a place for couches and meatballs, a Sunday afternoon errand, the opposite of survival. The packaging works against your brain. Nobody films themselves looting a flat-pack wardrobe, so the herd's instinct never points here. But strip away the showroom theater, and what you're standing in is a climate-controlled warehouse the size of a stadium, stacked floor to ceiling with manufactured goods, raw lumber, textiles and consumables, with its own restaurant, its own loading docks, and walls built to enclose acres of space. That's not a store. That's a fortified base camp that nobody else thought to claim. Start with shelter and warmth, because that's what kills first. A big box furniture store is wall-to-wall mattresses, comforters, blankets, pillows, rugs, and curtains. More insulation and bedding than a small town could use. In a powerless winter, that bedding is the difference between hypothermia and mourning. The store's lumber, the particle board, the solid shelving, the bed slats and table legs become structural material to wall off a defensible corner, board windows, and build sleeping platforms off the cold floor. The showroom itself is already a maze of pre-built rooms you can occupy. You don't have to construct shelter. You move into a building that's been demonstrating shelter to shoppers for years. Now, fuel and light, the thing that runs out fastest everywhere else. Furniture stores are stacked with candles by the hundred, decorative and otherwise, plus tea lights, oil lamps, and lantern-style fixtures. There's the disassembled wood furniture and the wooden pallets in the warehouse. Clean dry fuel for a controlled fire, or a rocket stove built from sheet metal off the shelving. Batteries sit in the checkout impulse racks and the electronics aisle. While the rest of the city sits in cold darkness burning their own floorboards, you've got months of light and controlled heat sitting in inventory, already sorted, already indoors, already dry. Then tools and hardware, the quiet engine of everything else. Every flat-pack product ships with its own little bag of screws, bolts, dowels, cam locks, and a hex key, and a warehouse full of flat-packs is a warehouse full of fasteners, thousands upon thousands of them. There are tool sets and cookware sold on the floor, knives and cleavers in the kitchen section, saws and wrenches in the assembly area, and rolling carts and hand trucks in the back to move heavy loads. The assembly stations have real tools. You can build, repair, reinforce, and fabricate almost anything with the contents of this one building. No hardware store required. Don't forget water and food, because people forget the restaurant. The store's own cafe and food market is a goldmine. The loot is skipped, packed with bulk dry goods, the famous frozen and shelf-stable stock, jars, sauces, coffee, and crucially the commercial kitchen with its big pots, its food-grade containers, and its bulk water lines and storage. Those giant stock pots boil and purify water at scale. The food court backstock feeds you for weeks. And the acres of flat roof are a rainwater catchment surface waiting for you to route it into those very containers. Finally, the genius nobody appreciates, the flat pack itself as a weapon of fortification. Those heavy slabs of dense particle board and solid shelving, designed to be bolted together by an amateur with a hex key, are pre-cut barricade material. You can layer them across doorways, stack them into blast walls, screw them into window covers, and build a defensible interior fort faster than you could nail together raw lumber, because the whole product line was engineered for fast tool-light assembly by ordinary people. The same design that frustrated you on a Saturday afternoon becomes the fastest fortification system in the city when it counts. So here's how you exploit it without dying. Don't claim the whole hangar. That's indefensible and screams occupied. Pick one back corner near the loading dock with few entrances. Wall it off with flat pack and shelving, control your sight lines, and keep the cavernous front as a buffer of empty noise-making space between you and anyone who wanders in. Work at night, stay off the roofline silhouette. Cache your real supplies deep and leave the obvious junk forward as decoy. Set early warning trip lines across the entrances using the cordage and wire you'll find on every shelf. The building's size is your friend and your enemy, so shrink it down to a space you can actually hold. Here's the truth that outlasts any of this. Survival was never about firepower. It was always about resources, shelter, water, warmth, food, and the materials to protect them, and the wisdom to recognize value where the herd sees only a Sunday errand. The gun store crowd fought, bled, and emptied the shelves over the tools of taking. You walked past the war and into the warehouse that lets you build, eat, sleep, warm, and outlast them all. That's not luck. That's seeing clearly when everyone else only sees what the sign out front told them to see. Stop chasing the obvious. Start claiming the overlooked and let the herd fight over an empty gun counter while you build your fortress out of flat pack. Stay sharp, stay ahead of the crowd, and I'll see you in the next one.